we will just have a short conclusion, and of course you can start to have some of your reactions or questions in the chat already, and we will take some time to answer your question after. So as a conclusion, basically during the research that we have conducted, especially on medical applications, we found that there was basically a kind of framework for application or company to decide to invest in, I would say, call that XR, so VR, AR, or MR technology. Basically, when you start from a problem in the real life, what kind of technology could you apply in the XR technology to solve what kind of applications for the patient or for the professionals? So as it's not exactly the topic of today, this slide is available and we will be able to share them to you a bit later if you're interested in that specific topic. But as you have seen, what we really have discovered is that those XR reality are, we believe, the gate to enter metaverse for medical applications. Here, at the beginning of the presentation, we presented you a couple of pillars that were supporting the metaverse. We have seen that in healthcare, the XR pillar is the one that is actually the most developed today. But we also believe that if we add up some of those other pillars, then we get closer to the metaverse. So as Anthony has really described some of the project that he has dived in, we can see that some of them added, for example, some social interactions. The first case that you shared with us for the basically digital sedation. So digital sedation can be done, but could add a little bit of social interaction into it to have a bit more engagement from the player, and then the player to be less stressed or feeling, let's say, the pain that they have. In the example that you mentioned, there is a company doing complete surgeries using this kind of techniques, not having the social interactions, but using digital sedation only as well. Then we look at the other example with Foldit, where we add, for example, the tokenization or the idea that you can pay the people for the work that they are doing for the pharmacists, for the pharma company, for example. So by adding another pillars of finding a way to pay people, I think this could be also an interesting pillar to add. So in order to come with a framework and a methodology for you today, we try to find an approach for the medical sector to go for, I would say, proof of concept or pilot projects in toward the metaverse, I would say, not necessarily in the metaverse, but toward the metaverse. So first, we put here to select an existing model of mixed reality or XR for care. So something that is already existing, has some proven validity. And then to decide and choose what other metaverse pillar we can add to this to make it closer to the metaverse. So exactly like what Anthony did with some of the example. Then you need to be careful with technologies, I would say. We discussed, and I think, Stéphane, you introduced a lot of different technological words. Some are blockchains, some are technologies that are around it. We have to be careful with those technologies. You also show us that some of the technologies that are existing have their coin cap fluctuating quite fast. And recently we have seen some of the project dying. So if you have decided to invest in a technology that has passed away, then basically you are losing it. So it's also really important to be careful in those technology selections. We put finance here because if you go, for example, like the play to earn model, those blockchains and those remunerations needs to be really finance guided. And it's really important to understand how you will pay people. If you pay them in cryptocurrency, can they convert that money? There is a lot of constraints regarding tax as well. In many countries, the tax are different around cryptocurrencies, for example, or even in some countries, sometimes illegal. So it's really important to understand that aspect. And the legal aspect, so I mentioned already illegal in my previous sentence, but there is an aspect of legal. If you go, for example, towards smart contract, and that might be something that happened, for example, in the Foldit case, to have a reward for people. Like we could think about having a token, an NFT, to reward people that have found some successful cases, for example. They might have a smart contract attached to this. So you need the legal people to help you to create those smart contracts that can be implemented inside the NFT. And then finally, you need to define the ambition you have with this pilot project. And this is pretty classic regarding what are the targets you want to achieve, how big you want to go, how fast you want to go. So this is a classic questioning for pilot projects.